More evidence today that what's hurting you most is not global warming. It's policies to allegedly stop global warming. They are what really hurt people. I've already seen in Melbourne, for instance, having blackouts last summer after a giant coal-fired power station was driven out of business, in part by global warming policies. And then the electricity that was coming in from new wind and solar plants suddenly tripped the system. We've also seen a blackout in Adelaide when the winds blew too hard and wind farms then went offline, tripped that system, and now the craziest of them all. 2 months ago, Alice Springs in the middle of the country was blacked out for more than 8 hours. Today, an independent report explained why. It blamed a cloud. A cloud. It floated over a very fashionable, very renewable solar power plant, and no sun, no power. Not from a solar plant. And as this independent report in the Northern Territory government said, at 1:43 p.m. a cloud passed over the station and station output became highly variable. In fact, you can see the power suddenly drop right away, making the whole system unstable. And this is what the report called the initiating event for the system blackout. This sudden unforeseen reduction of solar generation, which put a big load on dispatched synchronous generation. The expensive battery that bought couldn't cope for backup, and that was that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, looks increasingly like your future, because reason is dead and madness is in the air. Now, facts like these about dodgy green power, they don't seem to matter anymore. And I don't think I exaggerate about this invincible ignorance you now see daily. Just on the weekend we had yet more mass worship of the new goddess of our times, Greta Thunberg, worshipped by the media as well as she arrived in Madrid for a UN conference on global warming. And I find this incredible. This worship of a girl who is just 16, who doesn't go to school, who claims her Asperger's is actually a superpower, whose mum says that her daughter's superpowers include the incredible ability to see carbon dioxide coming out of chimneys. There's this hysteria, this complete contempt for facts. I'll give you another example. Thunberg addressed this protest in Madrid and said there were 500,000 people there. That's 5 times the crowd at the MCG. That's the size of a small city. That's incredible, but reporters just repeated it. Police say there weren't actually 500,000 there. There were just 15,000, which again shows to me that being a global warmist means you can exaggerate all you like. Facts don't count. It's the vibe of the thing. Don't even bother checking the truth of anything. Not if you're a journalist even. Certainly don't count the cost of the global warming schemes, just promote that scare. And so we get absurd examples like rugby great Dave Pocock announcing over the last couple of days that he and his wife won't be having children because that would just make global warming worse. I mean, talk about a price to pay for nothing. And then you had actress Emma Thompson. She went completely fact-free last week. She told an Extinction Rebellion protest in London that global warming apparently meant global freezing and eating your pets.
For those of you expecting a habitable future, we've got some pretty gloomy projections for you. Better wrap up warm, stockpile food, and remember that there's a surprising amount of protein in the average household pet.
When you get that kind of hysteria in the air, eating your pets, no wonder no one can think straight. And no wonder that you end up with a major Australian town being blacked out by just a single cloud.